Hello everyone, today we're going to do the fill in the blank video. Thank you everyone for posting. I think we also had some good discussion in here, so not all of these are blanks, but to the ones who did, thank you so much. And let's just get right to it. So my first hero died was blank and his or her name was blank. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to have to be right back on that one because I honestly don't have a clue. Alright, the answer to that question is the name was Rames, a Vestal in week 3, so go me, did not take very long. My favorite trinket is blank. Focus ring's a pretty good one, that's pretty generic. Other trinkets I really like, Ancestral Scrolls, pretty darn cool. Trying to think what else. Quick Draw Charm's not my favorite, but it's an interesting one for sure. I'd probably have to go Ancestor's Candle overall. I mean, it's my favorite trinket because it works with pretty much anybody. You just generically throw it on. It's also just a cool looking trinket in general. So I have to pick the Ancestor's Candle. Blank hero can use a self-healing skill to get out of a death's door. So like a leper? Is that what I mean? Leper, like create one? Not entirely sure on that one, but I guess we'll say leper with solemnity. Yeah, that or Houndmaster with lick wounds. My least favorite rare trinket is rare trinket. That's least favorite. Well, I like these ones. I gotta admit, I'm not a. Let me go look up all the rare trinkets. I have a couple of trinkets I really dislike, but in terms of rare, or do we also mean like very rare? Because there's a couple of very rare trinkets I'm not a fan of. One being, well, I guess it's not very rare, but the Ancestors, what's it called? The Tentacle Idol, whatever it's called. I don't really use Virtue Trinkets a lot, so it's Virtue Trinkets definitely one of my least favorite, but we'll go to rare because we'll do rare and very rare. Between very rare and rare, it'd either be the Martyr's Seal. I'm just not a huge fan of that. I don't want to pick Moon Rings because I just don't do do Torchless. So I'd probably say the Fasting Seal. Fasting Seal is just kind of generically blah, so I'm not really a huge fan of the Fasting Seal or the Martyr's Seal, I believe, right? Yes, okay. My favorite place in Darkest Dungeon to fight is the blank, and my least favorite, okay, so my favorite would be just generically, you know, I gotta admit, I'm slowly really liking the Warrens. I used to dislike the Warrens a little bit, but I gotta admit, I find myself doing them a lot recently for videos, and I kind of started liking them, liking the enemies a little more. It's probably because I played the Ruins so much in the past. I'm probably a little done with the Ruins, and my least favorite is still the Weald. Can't do it. They put all their like most painful enemy designs in the Weald, and I'm not down for it. My favorite way to play Darkest Dungeon is with a blank. For example, my favorite way to play Darkest Dungeon is oh. Yeah, I mean, I've only actually done it with a keyboard and mouse. But another example I would like to say, my favorite way to play Darkest Dungeon is with a fast party composition. I used to be a reactive player, but now, man, I like getting all my speeds 10 to 13 and just blowing the enemy away. So like I said, I've only ever done a keyboard and mouse. However, if we're talking about which way I like to play Darkest Dungeon, get some marks, get some Houndmasters in there, and start blowing the enemy away. Selena Go, most wonderful. Sorry, I'm just going to read some of this as I pass by here. The boss that scares me the most is blank. Ooh. Scares, huh? I dread the Countess, but not because she's scary, but because of how she's set up mechanically. The crew used to scare me just because I never had a downproof strategy. The Shambler's always a good one. I mean, if you want to talk in terms of scare, yes, I would rather not walk into Shamblers. But if I have to pick like a generic boss, I feel like the Brigand always has my number. I don't know why. I'd have to say the Brigand Pounder. I know some people say it's like super easy, and I know it is, but for some reason, in my mind and my play style and stuff, it just on occasion, I always have that hesitancy and the scaredness in the back of my mind. I'm like, what happens if I miss like 394s? Because I'm a moron, and every time I don't bring somebody who can definitely two-shot the guy. Like, I don't bring two people who are not gonna miss, because I get greedy every time. So that's probably the boss that actually scares me the most besides the Shambler. But that's because a champion Shambler just wrecks you unless you're really hunting for them. And even then, they're still a tough outing. They're not like something you just stroll in, destroy in turn or two, then walk out. The thing from stars, yeah, that's pretty brutal. That's true. I do like to avoid that as well. My favorite quirk on blank is blank. So, man, there's some good quirks out there, and especially on some good people. I have to say hot to trot on a leper is pretty devastating. I do like that. I know it's a little generic, but obviously tough on like a man-at-arms or a crusader actually goes a long way. Just that generic 10% is really nice. Gives them a little bit of extra boost. Just casually sitting there is always pretty cool. I forget what the one is called from the Colors of Madness, but it gives you like 20 or 30% healing capabilities. That on a Vestal is just absolutely disgusting. Hippo something? I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's disgusting amount of heals on the Vestal, and you essentially get, yeah, like I said, it's just a disgusting amount of heals. But yeah, Hot to Trot's pretty good on the Leper. I might have to stick with that. My favorite way to play Darkest Dungeon is the touchscreen. Interesting. Okay, cool. My favorite boss is blank. My favorite boss. That's a good one. I like that. The Prophet's oddly fun, but I don't know if I would say that's my favorite boss. I do look forward to the Swine God. Yeah, probably the Swine God. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Swine God, actually. It's just fun. As much as I dislike Wilbur, I actually enjoy kind of like the duality of that fight. It's a very interesting boss design. There's a couple of ways to do it as well, so you're not locked into just one way of doing it. And if you don't take it seriously, it can still kill you. So it's not a joke of a boss fight, but it's not so stupid you always lose, or at least it's always difficult / one way to cheese. So I actually have to say, based on aesthetics, area, how the function works, you got like the hype man, and then you got the big guy. So I actually really like the Swine God. The most annoying town event is blank. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's the one that halves your provisions. That one, that one gets under my skin pretty quickly. I don't know if there's too terribly many other town events other than obviously, like if we're talking about like Wolf coming or Shrieker or Towns Abuzz, those are all obviously annoying. But considering other stuff, yeah, let me just quickly look up the exact name of that town event. But that one where it halves your provisions is super annoying. Yeah, so I believe it's what, lost shipment, supply quantities changed by 50%, well, negative 50%, and provision quantities changed by negative 50%. That one's just really freaking annoying because it really limits what kind of dungeon you can do for the week. And sometimes you actually run into the issues of not enough shovels or other stuff. So it's actually pretty detrimental. My favorite Crimson Course boss is blank. So, well, we got 5. We got the Crack, Countess, Viscount, the Baron, whatever his name is. And then we got the Garden Guardian. Okay, so we got 5. Oh, man, we got 5. And my favorite, definitely not the Countess. She is pretty cool. I would have to actually probably say the Baron. I feel like his boss fight's a little bit more of a journey and a story told within the... I do like the Viscount as well. He's just so fragile. I feel like the boss fight doesn't really live up to the mood. The Baron at least lives up to the mood. I would say the Viscount would be if he wasn't so easily destroyed. Countess, opposite reason. Crocodilian's fun, but you fight it so many times it becomes a little boring. So I'd actually have to say the Baron. My favorite D&D quest is... definitely not the first one. The first one's super annoying. The second one is just, oh my gosh, that's like 35 minutes of just pure sweating and pain. The final mission's ass. I actually have to go to the third one. The reason why I like the third one is A, it can finish quickly, but B, then you can just generically run around and do what you want in the end. There's Ancestor's Bag, of course. You can take as many fights. It's just kind of a fun way to blow off steam, actually. My favorite Ancestor quote is blank. I actually did read ahead for this one because I had one in mind. I just forgot exact saying, so let me read it. And I have no idea why this is my favorite one. It just is. Once I find it. Oh yeah, glittering gold, trinkets, and baubles paid for in blood. I don't know why. I just like it. Just like it. There's honestly a lot of good ones that are for the narrator / ancestor. So I know you guys in the community I was reading, you have a lot that say the slow insidious killer. Inordinate sanguination's a good one. Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit. Yeah, I say a lot of these are really good. Okay, so I think these might be some of the last ones here, but it's been a good time. The leper has blank taped to the inside of his mask. To the inside of his mask. Kind of a weird one, but I'm going to say the leper has air fresheners taped to the inside of his mask. Why? Because I feel like his rotting flesh would be a little smelly, and who would want to smell a little better? Kind of a weird one, but you know what? I'm going to stick with it. I make mistakes in life, and I'm going to say he has air fresheners just generically jammed into his mask so he can smell something better. The most useless attack is blank. Blind fire or nervous stab. Oh my gosh. Just to go on this crusade, I'm going to have to say blind fire. The most useful curio is blank. It's the, whatchamacallit, it's the, why am I forgetting everything? It's the coral in the cove that removes the negative quirk, because that is thousands and thousands and thousands of gold. Also weak in the sanitarium. It's by far the reason why I actually run the cove as much as I do, because guess what? Yeah, the eerie coral. There we go. Boom, remove negative quirk for just a medicinal herb. Blank should be removed from the game because blank. I have a lot of emotions on this one. I have a lot. Because I could say Virago should be removed. I could say the Virago should be removed from the game because stupid dodge. Just stupid dodge, and you can't really decrease their dodge because their debuff's so high. But we won't hate the Virago too terribly much. So actually I have a weird one. I took a while to think about this. It's a good question. So it's really weird. I would say the Guardian should be removed from the game because blank. Find another more interesting way to get the remaining trinkets, not just farming the same boss over and over and over again. The most annoying thing is blank. Getting 3 negative quirks after finishing the dungeon with 0 stress is actually probably one of the most annoying things I find. The leper is best in blank because of blank. We could go combat. We could go socially. We could go HP. There's a lot of ways to say he's the best in something. I'm going to say the leper is the best in the final mission because of Holy Boy rocks a lot. Honestly, the leper is probably best in high damage as well because of Revenge and then Shard Dust Cheese. So that's another one if you don't want to take the first one. The most degenerate one is blank because of blank. Who would be degenerate? Who would be degenerate? I mean, I think the quick, easy answer would obviously be the Highwayman, as he is, you know, kind of a lowlife that steals from people and stuff. But there are other ways you could look at being degenerate, because it does include your physical health. So you could literally say the leper is a degenerate based on his physical status. You could also maybe say the occultist is an odd degenerate. Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me think just a little more. Got another cut. Alright, you know what? I'm actually going to go with the occultist because he is a moral degenerate. Because when you need him most, he crit bleeds you and kills your own fellow ally. So you know what? The most degenerate one is the occultist because of his ability to kill you when you need him the most. Another curio from the Covis person. Heck yeah. Oh no, not zealous accusation. It's pretty. It's slower. I'll definitely agree with that. Zweinhooker. Yeah, that's a good one. Didn't even think about that. Very good. Very nice. The most annoying enemy team comp is blank because blank. So there's a couple. There's the Ghoul and Large Flesh Eater, I believe. Let me make sure it is Large Flesh Eater and not Large Carrion Eater. I think it's large. Yeah, it's Large Carrion Eater, isn't it? Yeah. Let me just double, yeah. So the Large Carrion Eater and a Ghoul are actually really annoying. It's not that I lose people to that. It's one of two things usually happens to me. I come out with a bunch of stress and the worries, because if the RNG of the Ghoul is to spam Howl, you have to kill the Ghoul first. And then if the RNG of the Large Carrion Eater is the Mark and Tentacle Devour for a critical, most likely someone's going to Death's Door, at least with how my party comps run. So I actually find that enemy comp extremely annoying. Both have high HP, both have relatively good stun resist, and the Large Carrion Eater actually has some pretty bonker resistances as well, so DOTing a Carrion Eater out is actually not that easy. So the most annoying enemy team comp is that, because of all the reasons I just said, and another one I dislike as well is the Corrupted Giant, Crone Virago. Pretty much two of them got massive dodge in the back. You can't hit the third position unless you have a D stealth or a 3 and 4 ability, which is pretty annoying. We've talked about the Virago, extremely high dodge, can't really debuff it, so you're going to have to like Mark shoot it down with a critical, and then the Giant's there just beating the crap out of you or shuffling your party to the worst capabilities possible to then handle the situation. So I'd probably say I would want to run into the Virago comp less. However, pulling out that wild card of the Ghoul Large Carrion Eater is actually extremely annoying to me. Thrall Ghoul Squiffy Gas, yeah, it's pretty annoying. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Feel free to honestly post your comments in either the Discord here, the link is always in the description, or answer here on YouTube as well, because it'll help out that algorithm. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe below.